Now that we have introduced the idea that failure is not an option, let's get real. We do fail. But still, we do take the time to figure out the students' learning needs. We put in place various strategies and tools to support them as individuals. And we deliver the teaching using DI and Universal Design for Learning. You'll recall from our lectures a couple of weeks ago, we touched on the 3 principles of UDL. One was multiple means of action and expression, multiple options for students to show their learning and understanding of the content. How can they express their understanding? Providing learners with alternatives for demonstrating what they know. Have you ever been in the position where you felt you understood the information but failed the test? Even though you went to class and studied for the test, you still did poorly. Maybe the problem was not yours. Maybe the test was poorly constructed. Maybe there were underlying learning challenges in interpreting written text. A quick review of UDL Fundamentals. Remember, we are trying to get to the how of teaching and learning. The ideal is to engage the brain's 3 strategic networks. The how network is connected to expression. Each UDL principle has 3 checkpoints to guide you in determining appropriate options for your students. We want to ensure students are offered multiple means of expression and action. Provide multiple and flexible means of expression to provide diverse students with alternatives. Some examples include writing, using sign language, video recordings, audio, and listening. We need to provide alternatives when they take tests or work on assignments. These expressions are what can be used to demonstrate what they have learned. Universities are far more traditional. They are not very flexible in allowing students multiple ways of demonstrating learning. There are demands on our time. To repeat, in Universal Design for Learning, we are trying to activate the 3 strategic networks in the brain, and we are using differentiated instruction components of student interest, student readiness to learn to create some product, and expression of their understanding. UDL and DI go hand in hand. How can we provide our students alternatives and options to demonstrate what they have learned? That is the product we're trying to get at. Will the product allow the student to adequately express their knowledge? Will the product address the range of needs in your classroom? Some students may express very little, while others will express much more. In your design, you are looking for product options that allow students to express their full potential according to their needs. We're looking for alternatives for how they can express their learning. What have you seen used in the classroom? Clearly, in my classroom, students use ASL as their spoken language. Reading and writing was a struggle for many students. So students could write their assignment in English, or they could prepare a presentation in ASL, including preparing slides, much like you see me doing now. They can also show their learning through building models, through artwork, through drama. I accepted any product that could illustrate the concepts learned. We still tend to limit ourselves to paper and pen or keyboarding on the computer. How informative is it to demonstrate learning through clicking the right multiple choice answer with a mouse? Those products are easy to produce. Old habits. We are not thinking about the broader meaning of literacy. Again, it's back to reducing the barriers to learning. Consider the learner's abilities and needs. How can we optimize their learning experience by finding the right levels of support and challenge? I do want to caution you. Sometimes we provide too much support and not enough challenge. Teachers' aides or interpreters may be feeding the answers to the students. The students do what they're told. They are not really processing the information for themselves, not truly learning. On the flip side, I have seen students given no supports. They are unable to complete the work because it is beyond their abilities. That's where your insights come in. Consult with other teachers and consult with parents. Check in with the administration about what they think is happening. When considering how to eliminate barriers, be sure not to eliminate the learning goal. My students were learning ASL, but they still had to learn the social studies content. They had to learn the content from all their classes, be it math, chemistry, biology, psychology, or whatever else, including English. Of course they had to. It's not okay to just pass them on to the next grade. We need to show flexibility in how the outcome is achieved. This includes taking more time if necessary to get there. It may take a complicated route. It may take unusual tools. So how do you teach? Tough question. As discussed, you provide multiple means for students to express their learning. Encourage students to use technology, resources, and other tools to express their knowledge. Examples of such tools include speech recognition software, graphic organizers, calculators, video, and any manner of online tools and apps. All of these tools can help students express their knowledge. Give students a choice of how to express themselves as evidence that they can meet a learning outcome. Provide feedback while students work. This is important. We place too much emphasis on the final product, the test, the assignment handed in. But sitting down with the students during the process to identify what's going well in their progress is important. Tell them what you think is good. Ask questions about their decisions. Why did they do X? Keep the conversation going. Encourage students to reflect on their own learning. Have the students considered the choices they made to express their knowledge? I had one student who moved here from Somalia. She had no language whatsoever. Once she was in our classroom, she began to learn ASL. For physics, all the students were given the same activity to complete. Each of them had to build a paper boat, and it had to be able to float. No sinking boats. Ironically enough, she was the only student who succeeded in making a floating boat. All the other students, those who spoke well and those who signed well, all of them who had language and understood the instructions, their boats sank. Not only that, she went around and fixed all the other students' boats so they would float. Look at her choices. She expressed her understanding of the underlying physics and showed, through hands-on construction, her understanding of the task. Provide tips about how to stay organized. I have experience with many different students, not just deaf students, but others with learning difficulties. What I found, especially with ADHD students, as well as students on the autism spectrum and intellectual challenges, that they all had difficulties with organizing their papers. You give them a handout, and the next day they can't find it. It's gone missing. Or they find one sheet and not the other. Or they find the handout from 2 weeks ago, but not yesterday's. They couldn't keep organized. Students had agenda books, so I would post when things or other activities were due for them to write down. They never remembered to write it in their agendas. They couldn't use a calendar. So I finally gave up and decided no more paper. It was just such a waste of time and money. So I announced that everything would be online going forward. All due dates would appear in their calendar. We used Google Classroom. So they could never claim to say they lost assignments. Knowing everything was posted in the classroom, it was impossible to claim, I lost it. One student was annoyed because it was his practice to lose or toss his handouts on purpose. Now he couldn't rely on that strategy anymore. So we used technology from that day forward.